Hey there, awesome folks. This is Mentor Shelley, wanting to make sure that you become a better version of yourself professionally. We're going to be talking today about how ex trad wives or ex housewives or ex caretakers actually made it on the other side, back into the workforce, back into the labor market, and actually became business owners as well. We're going to share a few stories. So I want you to understand that this is not something that is just a concept. We're going to be looking at real life situations where they not only survived on the other side, but thrived. Stay tuned. Hey there, awesome folks. This is Mentor Shelley again. I want you guys to understand that this is not something that I'm just talking about for the fun of it. You guys have been through so much already as ex trad wives or as an ex homemaker or as an ex caregiver. And I want you to understand there are women out here that are killing the game. They're not just surviving, but they are thriving. And I'm going to be sharing a couple of stories and some information that should help you just not just to renew the vitriol and the determination you have of start rebuilding your life. But I want you to understand that we're exploring these women from different backgrounds who successfully transform their homemaking skills into career success and also into entrepreneurial ventures. I'm not just talking to talk, but I'm going to show you people that have actually walked the walk. All right. So let's start with the first story. Let's see here. The first story that we're going to explore is from Pauline. It's paulinarcy.com. It's Paulina Rossi Communications. Her journey from desperate housewife to fulfilled business owner. Here's an article. Do you ever wonder how you ended up where you are right now? I know I do, and here's my story. Hi there. It's been a few weeks that I've been traveling side by side in this wonderful, in this wonderland of solopreneurs and business owners journeying together. I figured it might be a good time to share a little bit about myself. So here's my story and how I got where I am now. When I arrived in Switzerland 7 years ago, I felt professionally lost. And I'm sure a lot of you may feel that way as well because you may not have been in the job market you haven't been in the job market for a while. She said she felt professionally lost, and that's definitely understandable. I had left my career as a magazine journalist. I'm sure some of you may or may not have had any experience in the job market, but in her case, she did. My native country, the ability to express myself fluently in my mother tongue outside of my apartment. For someone who works in a very language related industry, it is not an easy experience, I can imagine. Now, when I look back at that time, I realized that the language learning was actually the easy part. Interesting. I learned French quickly thanks to good teachers I luckily had. Finding a fulfilling professional project proved to be much harder. Even though I learned the language, I lacked confidence. And of course, guys, I know you guys may be having that experience, but I'm here to share their stories to help you understand that It may not happen overnight, but work on building that confidence because you're definitely in the driver's seat of your careers. Even though eventually she found a job. I said I could never be at the same level with native French or English speakers. I thought I would never find a job. I would never be happy again. Eventually, I found a job, became an even more fluent French speaker, left my job, fell pregnant, became a mom, and did not even have the capacity for work related thoughts for almost a year. That might still have been the happiest that that might still have been the happiest year of my whole life, but unfortunately, those maternal hormones wear off eventually and you inevitably start to see that there are also other things in the world that your perfect, beautiful, rose cheek baby girls. That is when it really started. I really started to feel lost. And a lot of you have sure shared some of those sentiments. That was a miserable period in my life. I wasn't happy at home. I just couldn't take being a stay at home mom. In the morning, when all the mandatory routines were accomplished, the day spread out in front of me as a hopeless long chain of unfulfilling moments, and I had no idea of what to do with them. I did not know what kind of job I wanted either. As a journalist by trade, but it was not a possibility to find journalistic jobs in Switzerland despite my fluent French. I had worked in a communications agency long hours, but long, oh, sorry. I had worked in a communications agency, but long hours didn't appeal to me as a mom and wife. I studied a little bit of photography, digital marketing, and social media and created a travel slash family slash expat themed blog in hopes of making some money through it one day. I created an account on Instagram, Twitter, and all other platforms you can imagine, hoping to get my following up and have the money rolling in. None of these endeavors made me feel like I was in the right place. Not everything works for everybody. That's why you keep trying different things. There was always something off. I didn't really have the technical passion to become a good photographer. I didn't feel comfortable showing my whole life on Instagram. Hmm. I had absolutely no idea what to say on Twitter. Most people don't. It's okay. I was all over the place, but none of these places felt like home. And then one December midday, I was having lunch with a friend, and I had the courage to say what I had been thinking. I am going to create my own business, I said. And there was no stopping me after that. On January 2018, I tackled the paperwork, put up my site, which was horrible, but still, and started contacting potential clients. My first invoice was paid in March. You know what she did? She stepped out and she did the darn thing, no matter how many obstacles she had. The moral of the story is just start somewhere. It's never going to be perfect in the beginning, and you only see your star constellations once you've already traveled a while. But this is an important one. Listen to yourself. Oh, ladies, please. And gentlemen in this position, listen to yourself. If something feels wrong, off, not like you, it probably is. If I hadn't taken the step to start working with my first clients, I wouldn't have had all the experience I have now, all that knowledge. Or if I had taken a 9 to 5 job that felt wrong, I wouldn't be where I am now. So if you're hesitating, hear me out. Take that step. That is the only way to see if it feels right for you. If it doesn't, you can change your mind, but try. Take the step. Be brave. I'll be with you holding your hand every step of the way. And it's now your turn to tell me your story and how you got where you are now. And definitely go ahead and subscribe to her website, PauliniaArasi.com. Her story definitely inspires me to say, what can we learn from this, ladies and gentlemen? What can we learn from this? The moral of her story, Step up and get it done. What did I say? Step up and get her done. All right. So that's story number one. What do we learn from it? Step up and get it done. She had language barriers. Um, she wasn't sure. She knows she didn't want to go the 9 to 5 route. So what did she do? She stepped out and she offered a product or service for a fee and created a business. Now, story number two. What did we learn from story number one? Step up and get it done. All right. So we're going to go to story number two. Okay. Let's see here. All right. So we're going to go to story number two, which has even more inspiration as far as I'm concerned. I'm just going to be honest with you. Somebody familiar, if you're familiar with YouTube, then this person may have come across your feed at some point. In Forbes.com, of course, the writer, the senior contributor to this article, is Paulina Reed, senior contributor that covers female leaders who are shaping the future. And the name you see in the title of this one is From Doting Housewife to a Woman Who Impacts Millions of People. Lisa Billieu shares her mindset shift. I'm very familiar with her work. You've seen her wonderful picture all over because her husband is also part of the Impact crew as well. And that's a great picture of her and her dog and all of those pieces. Oh, let's start here. Co-founder of Quest Nutrition and Impact Theory Media Studios. Her and her husband are in the mindset coaching and nutritional space. It doesn't really matter because you're going to be a stay-at-home mom anyway. These are the words Lisa Billieu's father shared with her after he realized she was serious about studying filmmaking. Growing up in a very traditional Greek household, and some of you are dealing with a lot of cultural barriers or cultural situations as well. Growing up in a very traditional Greek household, Billieu, co-founder of Quest Nutrition and Impact Theory Media Studios, took no offense to the conclusion. He didn't say it to be mean, Billieu, who affectionately explained, but that was definitely the Greek mentality when it came to women. Despite her family's perspective on what a woman's role should be, Billieu, Lisa, still hoped to break barriers for women in film. But she and her husband Tom needed equity to create the kind of studio and movies they'd care for. Taking a page from Steve Jobs' handbook on simply the daily decision-making process, the two decided to spend a year assuming traditional marital roles. Tom worked outside of the house, and Lisa as a stay-at-home wife. She had been groomed to be, based on her culture and her family history and dynamics, supporting her husband as she brought in the funds they needed to fuel their dreams. But after 8 years of chasing money, no film business to show for it, and both profoundly unhappy, Lisa realized the couple had slipped into the kind of monotony she had been trying to avoid all her life, and agreed with Tom that he should quit. It's amazing how social norms in a family can affect your decisions. Coincidentally, Tom's partners were feeling equally drained by the business they'd built and decided to launch Quest Nutrition, a brand with a mission they loved and could stand behind. With Lisa not working at the time, Tom asked if she could help help by fulfilling orders of the company's protein bars from their living room floor. Initially, I wasn't really involved in it. I was like, okay, I'd help my husband because for 8 years I had started to train myself and eventually believe that was my purpose, to help your husband, Lisa states. Using the fear of losing her home and marriage to failure in the business as an incentive to succeed, Lisa worked diligently to learn everything she could about the logistics of scaling. Undeterred by the limited expectation placed on her growing up, because women are to take care of their husbands once they're married, Lisa shared that she helped Quest Nutrition grow an astounding 57,000% in 3 years' time, earning a $1 billion valuation, ranking as the number two fastest growing companies in North America by Inc. magazine in 2014. Not bad for a housewife. And she's at home doing all of this. Listen here. Do not allow, because culture and other people determine that you as a housewife can't do anything. She knocked it out the park. She brought them to that level in 3 years. That is awesome. Do not doubt your abilities, ladies. Lisa believed she could do whatever she put her mind to. That's certainly true based on the results they got. However, even with all the accolades given and pride formed, it was apparent that she's still unhappy. Digging deep into the process of self examination. That's also important, ladies. Remember that. The Yehu was eventually able to make a valuable shift in perspective from the fear of losing everything to the delight of working to grow her business. With this change in mindset, Lisa began leading a life and career that had allowed her to happily launch her first cooking show with fitness influencer Cassie Ho. Build a state-of-the-art set for Inside Quest, co-found Impact Theory Media Studios with her husband Tom, became the host and co-founder of Impact Theory's Women of Impact talk show, which you can see on YouTube, guys. Go ahead and check it out. And help all her shows collectively reach over 300 million views to date. And this is a 4-year-old article, so it's probably gone a lot more than that since then. Lisa shared how Lisa shares here some of the ways she's been able to gain outlook needed to feel like a woman of impact. You see her there with a picture. Number one, be clear about your passion and purpose. Passion for me, she says this is in her own words. Passion for me is something I feel so internally that I cannot switch off. When I wake up in the morning, I just get so passionate about doing something that I will do it actually sometimes even more to the determinant of my detriment of my health. Oh my God. Okay, because I am so passionate about it, I can't stop it. It's like a fire, a blazing fire, Lisa explained. Purpose, I think, is where I use that blazing fire to focus. So my purpose is to impact people. That's what the name of her show is. My purpose is to impact people. But I have to have the passion and the fire first, because if I don't have that, then I actually don't believe that I am able to serve my purpose. Remembering her childhood passion for filmmaking, allowing Lisa to begin looking at the work she had done with Quest as a stepping stone towards fulfilling the dreams she had before assuming the role of a stay-at-home wife. Once her passion became clear, it became easier to fulfill her purpose. Ladies, I want you to take a page out of her book. What can you learn from Lisa's story? Let me tell you what I learned from Lisa's story. The moral of her story is be brave enough to live your dreams. Be brave enough to fulfill and to walk in your purpose. It may take a few steps to get there, but be brave enough to fulfill your purpose. All right. I want you to understand that that's exactly what she's doing. And of course, guys, if you're looking for ways to get started on this journey of yours, whether it's to start a business, and you've been out of the workforce for a while, and you're also looking to start a business, or you're looking to get back into the 9 to 5 or get back into the job market, and you're not sure where to start, you can definitely go to mentorshelley.com/ETW. I have that in the far left-hand corner of the screen here, or it's also streaming at the bottom of this live. All right. I want to touch on one more thing before we wrap it up here tonight. Okay. I want you to understand this isn't you stepping out and making this transition. It's not an easy feat, but life has hard things. You have to choose your hard. You can choose to be, you can choose to live and not take advantage of your situation, or you can choose to achieve your dreams no matter how hard it may be. Okay? So now, let's see here. Let's make sure. So I want to make sure that we have all three here. Ah, there we go. Okay. So let's go ahead, and I want to share this last thing with you from the National Institute of Health. I want you guys to know from a scientific standpoint, this is something as ex-trad wives, as ex-housewives, that literally the National Institute of Health, let's see here, National Library of Science and National Institute of Health, they share articles and they share resources as well. This particular, National Institute of Health.gov. This article is titled, it's a study from housewives to employees, the mental benefits of employment across women with different gender role attitudes and parenthood status. The abstract for this pretty much says, previous studies suggest that paid employment can improve workers' mental health status by offering a series of manifest and latent benefits such as income, self-achievement, and social engagement, which motivates policymakers' ongoing promotion of labor force participation as an approach to protect women's mental health status. This study extends the literature by investigating the mental health consequences of housewives' transition into paid employment across different gender roles, attitude groups. In addition, the study also tests the potential moderating of roles of the presence of children in relationships. That does make a difference. The study yields two major findings by using the national representative data N1222 from the United Kingdom household study from 2010 to 2014 and OLS congressions. First, from the first wave to the next, housewives who transitioned into paid employment reported better mental health status than those who remained housewives. Second, the presence of children can moderate such associations, but only among housewives with more traditional gender role attitudes. Mindset is a hell of a thing. Specifically among the traditional groups, the mental benefits of transition into paid employment are more pronounced among those without children. Therefore, policymakers should develop more innovative approaches to promote housewives' mental health by considering a more gender role attitude sensitive design for future labor market policies. And of course, that's the abstract. That's what you start off with. Now, the methodology, you guys can go through that on your own. But the results, I want to bring your focus to the results. 3.1, the effects of transitioning into paid employment on women's mental health status. It's good for your mental to be able to be self-sufficient, ladies. Table 1 below shows the weighted sample description statistics of this study. Table 2 displays the results of a series of multivariate linear regressions predicting the impact of transitioning from being a housewife to paid employment on women's mental health. Specifically, Model 1 in Table 2 shows the compared women who remain to be housewives. Women who transition from being housewives to paid employment have significantly better health status. Wow, look at the deviation of variant there. I'm going to tap on Table 2 so you can see. Next, the potential within gender differences who was investigated by analyzing the impact of transitioning into paid employment by different gender ideology groups. So let's just go ahead and look at the differences here. Job status, paid into employment, traditional women, egalitarian women, the improvements of that study. You can go ahead and look into more of that as well as coefficient if you want to get really nerdy and detailed with it. I will leave the link for this particular study below. But let's get to the conclusion because at the end of the day, that's what we want to focus on. Oh, wait. Look at look at the study here, folks. Mental health got worse, remained the same, or got better. Look at the improvement. Well, if you have children, even if you have children, there are some other cofactors there as far as the dependence of children and how that can affect you. But Eve, the mental health increased by more than 50% just based on this chart alone. Let's take a look at it. Whether you're, depending on, oh wow, in the traditional sense, it more than 3 times increased the mental health. Oh geez. Transitioning into employment, whether you have children in an egalitarian society, it improved a little bit, even not a little bit. It improved at least 20% here, and it improved almost 50 to 60% here. It's also, of course, you have to keep in mind that the presence of children significantly affects the results of that, but there's still mental health improvement. The conclusion overall, based on this study, pretty much says overall, apart from traditional housewives with the presence of children, transitioning into employment as a ex-trad wife, as a housewife transitioning out of those roles, can significantly improve housewives' mental health status. Therefore, it is necessary to promote women's labor participation as a social interference for protecting the mental health of women. However, policymakers should develop innovative approaches to protect special groups. For example, traditional housewives with the presence of children, since they are more vulnerable economically and otherwise to potential adverse mental effects of paid employment and work-family conflicts. The nuanced evidence of the study on the role of the presence of children should be taken into account when promoting housewives' labor force engagement. Public policies should offer more benefits to support housewives with the presence of children, such as by enhancing their access to use of flexible work arrangements and investing more money to build public day care centers. I completely agree. It is also worth noting that the policy should not focus on housewives with the presence of children, but on the whole family. Overall, governments and organizations should promote more work-family interventions, such as longer paternal leaves and flexible schedules to encourage fathers to participate in child care activities as well. Listen, folks, at the end of the day, what did we learn from this study? Haha. Ladies, the moral of this study says your mental health will improve if you don't have children, 3 times as much if you have children, at least by 30 to 50% by returning to the workforce. Trad wives, long-term caregivers that are stepping back into the workforce. It's not just about finding a job. It's about rediscovering the potential you have and what you have to offer in the labor market. The courageous women that I shared their stories inspired me to push forward for my goals and dreams, to make my dreams become a reality. It encouraged me because I've not been in a trad wife role, but I definitely understand as a woman the plight that you had to suffer through. Transitioning from homemaking to career success is possible. We talked about it with these 2 women, with Lisa and with Paula. Excuse me, I don't want to. Paulina Rossi. with Lisa Biliehu, and even the study shows that transitioning from being a trad wife and getting back into the world of working improves your mental state. At the end of the day, folks, if you're coming out of this situation, know that mentally you're going to be in a better place. Physically, economically, it's going to be in a better place, and this is why I have the ex-trad wife economic guide available to you. You can go to mentorshelley.com/ETW, ladies, and get to stepping. That's the first step. Figuring out what you can offer based on the skills you already have so you can get out there and make your dreams happen. Whether you're starting a business or you are getting back on the 9-to-5 trail with the skills you have to offer. You want to know what those skills are? Go ahead and grab the guide so you can get started to help you figure that out. And if you're looking for additional help from me as far as career planning or resumes or things of that nature, you can go to mentorshelley.com/consultation so we can work together one-on-one to put your living your dreams plan together. All right, guys, I'm here as a career coach to help guide you to the greatness that you've been designed to achieve. All right, guys, take care. Have a good one. Bye.